SEO This Week. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of SEO This Week. We got an update rolling out and a whole lot more. So with that, let's get going.
Did you know a press release alone isn't enough? Visibility is key. You need a multi-platform strategy to share your story across news, audio, video, and social media. Welcome to Magic PR, where your press release transforms into a powerful media experience, maximizing exposure and engagement. We distribute your release to top outlets like Yahoo Finance, Bloomberg, Business Insider, and more. Plus, your release is SEO optimized, ensuring better search rankings. But we don't stop there. We turn your press release into a podcast, distributing it across 25 platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud. Then, we create a social media content for Facebook, X, and Instagram, and even transform your story into a video press release for YouTube and top media sites. Video drives over 80% of higher engagement, and short-form content is king. We make viral videos for your YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and more. At Magic PR, we don't just publish, we amplify. Get your press release seen, heard, and shared everywhere. Visit magicpr.com today and take your brand to the next level. Back to you, Clint.
All right. So as I said in the intro, Google has released an update. It's the 2025 core update, and we'll be rolling it out over the next couple of weeks. There's a lot of speculation about what is in this update. There's a lot of speculation about what it may or may not do. One in particular is Joe Youngblood's poll. Will Reddit, Forbes, and Core rank higher or lower? Everyone is speculating. Well, pretty much everyone is speculating that they're going to rank higher. Will sites hit by HCU be recovered? Pretty much resounding no. And does anyone believe anything Google says? A resounding no. So that's all in all, it's pretty interesting. Just the kind of the take that people expect to happen from this. I don't. It's early, so I wouldn't take anyone's suggestions, including mine, into regards of what it is or what they're doing. There is a timely release of a new algorithm or way that we'll get into a little bit later, and some speculation that it's part of the algorithm and they're deploying it with the core update. But there's been no official announcement saying that that's what they actually did. So, like everything, it's SEO mania going on and running wild. So keep your hats on, kids. Rank track now, but kind of take everything with a grain of salt until the update goes through, because you don't know if they're actually updating the algorithm or they're updating the HTML. So tell everyone not to freak out. But just hold their panties on. In regards to Google, you can worry about Bing and all the other Instagram and AI and all those other search engines all you want, but in Google organic, put your hands in your pockets, sit on your hands. That's what I was looking for. No index no longer means not rendered. Here's something I wanted to show this because the headline is pretty interesting. And essentially what they're saying is, because you have no index doesn't necessarily mean that Google's not going to read your web page and Google's not going to read, what's on it. And I will tell you for 100% fact that no index never meant not rendered. As a matter of fact, there's plenty of history of testing of no index pages, especially for link building, that have proved that. There, even beyond that, Dory Friend did a test on her burnt out PBN domain. You don't know she sells PBNs. She had a set of domains that were de-indexed and manually penalized. As Google's like, "Ha, gotcha, clown," and putting links on those still resulted in getting increased rankings. So Google has always rendered no index pages, and they will continue to do that. The only way to stop them from doing that completely is blocking them in your HT access. So, and there is the robots.txt file. You can do it as well, but that depends if they're going to honor that or not. But in particular, if you're looking at, I'm just going to put no index on these pages, it definitely doesn't mean that Google is not still going to crawl those. Unless you're blocking in the robots.txt or HT access by magic, but mainly you want to do this in robots.txt, then they're going to crawl it. And they may or may not index it, but they sure as hell are going to crawl it. Ooh, content chunking. It wouldn't be an episode if I didn't talk about content chunking. And so I want to bring this out. Given the toolbox in Vertex AI search, I believe Google's favors layout. Aware chunking, which segments text based on HTML structure, headings, paragraphs, lists, and tables. What does this mean? It means if you're optimizing your content like I told you to, and you are creating outlines for your articles, those are part of the layout aware chunking. If you add Core, I know it's killing me right now to give the guy credit, but if you add his questions layout in his content to that, and consider chunking and how to ask the question, answer it immediately, provide a citation, and provide an example. If you do that, and then you break out your content into sections or layer aware chunking, paragraphs, headings, lists, and tables, then you're going to set yourself up for success. How Google AI Mode digests your content. Google AI Mode transfers user query, blah, 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 into process, right? It answers the question directly, and that's what you want to do when applying content chunking. There is a test that I want to do where we're going to test semantic HTML structure, sections, headings, sections, article, section, heading, content in the content chunking, and then close the section, add new sections like that. I want to do the test like that and see how well it performs. I don't know how I want to pull it off. Like, it's hard to do in a testing environment, so I think I'm going to have to do it kind of at a scale. I'm going to follow a Mike Merlino training method for ranking maps. But I'm going to use that HTML structure to pull it off. And I think what I want to do is, because of my WordPress installation, I can't control the semantic structure, sections, article, etc. What I want to do is I'm going to do those as part of the HTML. I'm going to for link building to my primary structure. I'll do a video on that probably on Wednesday, the setup for that. And you guys can let me know what you think in regards to whether it'll work or not. So be on the lookout for that. Bot tracker. There's been a lot of talk about bots and different bots. And there's a lot of people that claim, oh, I have my log file and I know for a fact that Google is indexing my images because the Google image bot came, or indexing my videos because the video bot came. And really all it really tells you is this bot came and saw that page. And this is what time, and maybe you can follow along in the logs of where it went from there and guess that it's following internal links, for example, or it's following the breadcrumb structure, for example. But you can't really say what it's indexing, what it's looking at, or anything, because anyone can name all these damn things whatever the hell they want. But in general, what you see here is the good bots, right? So this is all set up for you. You can gives you some information on what the bots are. It links to that, and you can click on the details, and you can see the patterns and the IP prefixes. These are good to have so that if you want to block fake bots, for example, you have the IPs. Google has a list of their IPs that they share. So I would keep this, put it in your bookmarks, just like I did right there. And if you're doing some stealth SEO things, then you can save that for reference. This is the retrieval algorithm that was released, kind of explaining it in plain English and giving some examples. I think it's pretty interesting. You can just kind of think about how you write stuff. There's a lot of people that cite this and go, oh, look, ordinary keywords don't matter. Ordinary keywords still matter. You still got to start from somewhere. And in general, the somewhere is, what are people searching in order to find the solution to their problem that I sell? And those are and always have been keywords. They'll always be called keywords, whether you want to admit it or not. It's still the search. You're putting in a search query. You're still putting in a keyword. It's or words, or an n-gram of words, or a sentence, and as a search is still a keyword, right? So this plays connect the dots, because Google and the algorithms are math algorithms, and they can't read, but they can put together word strings, and they can and build associations and stuff like that. And this is what it is. This is high-tech connect the dots and an update to Google's connect the dots system. So check it out. If you're interested, you can get a paper to the link. There's some code stuff here at the GitHub too. It was all too super nerd for me, so I didn't really mess too much with it. But Harpa.ai will explain it for you. Or you can talk to Marie Haynes, like her hater. She does have a decent breakdown of what it is. I don't think, honestly, it's much more than what you're going to find on the in here. And I think probably Harpo will do a little bit better for you. I would look at this reference here and plug it into Harpa and have it explain it to you in English. Maybe even look up the patent and have it explained to you in English, and you get an even better idea of what this is actually doing. Great information from a academic standpoint. SEO wise could be, but there is no acknowledgement that it's in there. You know, they release it, they tell everyone about it, and then they release a core update. We all, with our tinfoil hats, assume that it's going to be in the algorithm now. So maybe you can figure it out and it'll give you some kind of edge, or maybe not. Who knows? All right, 4 ways to use SEMrush to discover Reddit opportunities. Honestly, I just like this post because it, just kind of gives you some ideas to find some Reddit. I like using Reddit. You can find Reddit, join subreddits, and then find the content or posts that in the subreddits that are ranking. Potentially turn that into a link building thing, or even better, turn that into something where you can author rank yourself in related topics, etc. So if there are some Reddits talking about schema, I get in there and talk about schema, and if those are ranking, now my name is associated with schema, right? And I can phrase my replies when I do schema, when I teach schema, when I'm developing schema, when I'm learning schema, and it'll build some associations with me on Reddit. So even if you don't get the link building benefit, you can get some other stuff too. And this is just how to use SEMrush. You don't need SEMrush to do it, but you can. If you're paying for that service, it's $270 a month. You might as well get some power out of it. And this is a good way to do that. This is SEO Clarity. It's kind of like a search metric. What is a good counter platform? I think SEMrush would be a good competitor, but this one is significantly more expensive. This is some information that they got based off of their data analysis of what's driving search or people from search, etc. So I think it's pretty interesting, just to have a little bit of it and see where it's going. Or get some ideas for articles or your presentations and stuff like that, and why you should be doing search. These numbers here are pretty interesting. The position 3, the CTR dropped. Position 4, the CTR dropped. That matches a lot of what we're seeing from other people that are showing those. Look, this is my CTR and this is my impressions. And you can have higher impressions but lower CTR, right? And this kind of makes sense. So if you're not in position 1 and 2 now, it's even. I would say 1 and 2 is even more important than it ever was. I used to always shoot for the top 3. Top 3 still keeps me down, so I can be in the top 3, have high impressions, but my CTR is going to suck. Hopefully that 247 would get me up to knock me in the 2, and then this would eventually knock me into 1. But I mean, it's almost to the point where you can't sit idly by and be happy with top 3 anymore. You got to go for top 2. This parameter is still in the search results. This author, Matt Southern, apparently he just noticed. I don't know. It's been there forever, but this parameter is part of the merchant feed and it's showing up. If you don't want it, you got to turn off the tracking in merchant feed. Otherwise, you can just filter that out in your Search Console and your Google Analytics, and it'll clean out that data for you a little bit. But there's still no fix. Google's still doing it. The state of link building. I like these because there's a lot of statistics in here based off of SEOs, and you can check out all of the keyword trends and stuff. I'm going to actually take this data and turn it into a part of my proposal presentation. I think the post is really good. I like the design of the website. I like the information, and you can put together, probably put together quite a couple presentations for this. So that's what I'm going to do with this information. You guys check it out, and maybe you get something that you can do something with it. Answer engine optimization. This is a thing from Paul Dre over at the SEO Video Show. I haven't signed into it yet, but it looks pretty cool. Just based off of the structure and everything, I mean, I think it's all right. It's a little technical course, and Paul is known really for e-com. He's did a lot of scale, big ass companies in e-com. So don't scare away from, or don't underestimate his knowledge in SEO. Don't let the pretty YouTube face fool you, as it were. He knows a lot of stuff. So I would, and as far as I can tell, this is free. And so it hasn't asked me to pay for anything. I got to sign in, and I want to go through some of this myself too. You never stop learning, and you can learn from everybody. So it's cool to see Paul put his knowledge in a nice little knowledge base. And honestly, the site's actually pretty neat. I like it. It's pretty, simple, clean, just how I like them. This is a AI platform I wanted to show off for tools. Essentially what it does is it writes prompts for you. Let me see if I can open up the homepage so you guys can see that. All right. And then I want to drag this into the appropriate place. What do you want to solve? Generated agent for a treat, personal recommendations. I did generates prompts for the agent based on the comments, right? You can do N8N diagrams. We tried that a little bit. And then what I did with it is I took the prompt and put it over in a Gemini, and I'm not going to show you, but I actually made a website that's pretty fucking cool right off the bat using this prompt. So combine this with your other tools, and I think you're going to be all right. Why Google isn't indexing your pages and what are you doing about it? This is crawl budget. You can use the crawl and see how Google is crawling your website. And if that indication of poor crawl means that there's probably some technical stuff going wrong with it, i.e. you have interlinking sucks, or you'd have your whole bunch of orphan pages, your sitemap's not very good, et cetera, et cetera. And that's essentially what you can. This is essentially what you can do to diagnose that and check some stuff out and see your crawl report and search result in Search Console, et cetera, and see if you have a problem. So that's the ever long lasting, why isn't my website indexing? This is one of those things you can go check out to fix. And this is a nice step-by-step guide in how to accomplish that. URL encoding. This is for all you super nerds or any technical SEOs, and you want to get into different, normalizing casing, setting the meta, UTF code, all that stuff. I would go probably beyond, like if you're a small business type guy, you're not going to be messing with 90% of this, but it is interesting to know, especially if you're dealing with like e-com sites and directories and that kind of stuff that can create this URL coding can come naturally based off of your platform. And also you could accidentally be doing it when you're typing in your URL structures, and et cetera. So if you know all this stuff, well, if you're just aware that it's there, and maybe, and you see it going on in your URLs from your system, then you can just, you can point it to the developer, or you have a problem where you're okay. So that's good. Google penalties, advanced detection, recovery, and prevention strategies to fix manual and algorithmic penalties. Typically, this is really all about links. The manual penalties I find are actually pretty easy. You get manual penalties, and then they're going to tell you, well, you got to kind of fix this, you kind of fix that. Chase the rabbit a couple times, and then beg for forgiveness, do the reconsideration request, and boom, it's back. The algorithmic one's not so much. This one really doesn't go into this is how you fix it. It goes into this is how you diagnose it. And I don't know about you, but if I saw this, I would say, there's something going on in the algorithm H, Y, Z. Right? Especially for organic traffic in Google, you can see that. And so I would just check this out. It'll give you some things to look at, give you some ideas that maybe you can kind of try to fix them. This is all really the same. I would say, like, other than words like entity drift and topical dilution is pretty much the same since I started SEO. Go fix your content, go fix your structure, fix your internal linking, fix your trust signals, add some schema, and see if it works. There, that's this page. That's this article right here. So, but again, you can always be learning, so check it out. How people search with chat. It's talking about an actual paid tool. So, and supposedly this tool will give you the prompts that people are using to see your brand. I did look over at the tool. It was pretty damn expensive, but if you're a baller and you want to guess, kind of look at this and see if it's kind of close to what you're doing or what you're seeing, then I check it out. But for the most part, it was interesting. Check out the tool if you want to. Instagram SEO. Remember I told you last week there's all kinds of search engines. Instagram is just another one of them. If you are trying to leverage that, creating reels for your articles, for example, and putting it on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube Shorts, etc., then this will be valuable for you. You can kind of create this little mini SOP and using some of this information and put it to work and leverage some of the search engine optimization things that you can take advantage of for Instagram. I find this actually pretty useful, so that's why I want to share it with you. Vanish in AI search flux. This is friction-inducing latent ask questions. So if you think about queries, query fanning, you're thinking about content chunking, etc. This is just another carry off of that. And so if you're looking for, like, let's go if you're a people also ask kind of guy, this is more people also ask questions for you, and a way to figure that stuff out is a presentation from SMX Advanced, and the author did a pretty good job of highlighting his entire presentation so that you can't just, it's not one of those where you're going to get the slides and not see any context. You get to see the presentation, whole bunch of context, and I think it's pretty cool. And I'm going to go over it a little bit more when I build out that test. And I think I'm going to use his methodology to build out the questions for the content segment. So for the content chunks, we'll use the proper terms around here. New Search Console Insights Report. It's essentially like the insights from Google Maps, but you get Search Console. I like that it's your top trending up, trending down for the queries. I think that is probably hands down the most helpful part of this report. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I hope that it gets really, really expanded. Like you can see, and maybe add some filters so you can go trending up in the last 30 days, trending down in the last 90 days. So when you get back to diagnosing what the hell happened, you can see specifically where you lost visibility. More importantly, you have clicks and you have percentage down. It would be awesome, and I haven't seen it yet, but if you can add impressions in there, And that way you can see if your impressions stay the same, but your clicks go down. And then you can also potentially check your rankings and see if I had the same rankings, I had the same impressions, but the clicks went down. So maybe there's a feature that's stealing or taking that traffic. And you could say that rather more definitively than we can right now. I think, in my opinion. Content clustering, get back on this. This is a visualization using Screaming Frog. Screaming Frog's been killing it right now. So I would say go ahead and check this out. I honestly am going to take a whole bunch of these and create these visualizations and make that part of my SEO data tool set for link building. I think that's going to be the best use of this, and combining that with a core report. Just got to figure out the actual doing it part, but once I do that, it's going to be dope. I'll make a video on that showing you how to do it too. Query Fan-Out Analyzer. You know someone was going to make one, and I think I've shown off a couple, but this one seems a little bit easier to use. Put your query in here, drop your API keys over here. They say they're not saving them. But I mean, make one that you can set aside and flag or kill or whatever on these types of tools, just to, be safe. And then check it out. Same as like people also ask and all that. This is essentially the same with query analysis. It breaks down topics. It breaks down keywords, i.e., what is your query? This is a keyword, right? AI content strategy is my keyword. It breaks that down and fans it out, and you'll be helpful. So there's one tool. The other one is query fan-out analysis in Screaming Frog using Gemini. I like Method. Jesus, one of these days he's going to reach out to me and tell me how to pronounce his damn name. His site and Screaming Frog tutorials has been dope. So there's this one here, and then there's another one, why AI share buttons might be the smartest growth hack. You can check out both of those articles; are pretty good. This particular tells you how to get through and do the query fan out and how to set it up and everything that you need to go with it. And so essentially use Screaming Frog to do this, right? And it's totally up to you how you want to do it. I would prefer Screaming Frog because it's on my computer and I don't have to worry about my API keys. What do NDP, NODP, and NODR Metatags do? This is actually going to come in handy when we get into the questions. So NDP is no open directory project, and then no YDR is no Yahoo directory. That's what those are for. How do you see when ChatGPT is quoting your content? And that's by using this idea of analyzing the log files. I think is pretty interesting. Use Screaming Frog log file analysis, and you'll be able to check out your actual ChatGPT traffic supposedly in regards to the request of the user agent, like the actual bots, right? So it's interesting. You can see if you get, let's say you're not in ChatGPT right now, you look at your log files and you're like, Google ChatGPT is not there. Oh, why doesn't it love me? And then you get a couple good backlinks on some sites like Reddit, Quora, etc., that are citing you all the time. And then you can watch and see if those efforts that you're doing over at Quora and Reddit are actually getting ChatGPT's attention, and you can follow along with your log files. So plenty of uses in a log file, plenty of guessing from log file users. So is backlinking a scam? Yes, it's completely a scam. Don't build backlinks ever, 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 ever. That's a lie. Backlink's not a scam. There are people who are creating or who are selling backlinks that are not worth the money that you're paying for them. I won't say that I build and have used Xtremer and GSA, RankerX, SEO Neo, SEO Autopilot, Magic Robot, SE Nuke. I've used all of them. Screaming, what's the other one? Scrapebox. I've used all of them. So it's not to say that there is a scammy backlink. But if you're charging me $200 for a DR40 backlink and that backlink is trash, like it doesn't have any, the site's not ranking, the site doesn't have any traffic at all, etc., then that would be a scam, right? A lot of and then there's a lot of sellers out there who will sell you hopes and dreams and then deliver nightmares to you too. So you got to be very careful with that. I'm trying to be cagey in regards to calling out other sellers because there's, one man's good backlink is another man's spam backlink. So it's just the way it is. And I'm going to be selling links here pretty soon. I'm just working out the packages and kind of figuring out how I want to package it all up and do it. Because one, it's a good business model for me. And then two, there's a lot of people that need, 10 backlinks, and don't want to pay $500 for a backlink. Right. And so I have access to a pretty cool system and licensing and domains and et cetera. So we just want to package it up so it makes sense for people across the budget spectrum. And it also makes sense for me to continue going. So I'll announce that here pretty soon. I got one other thing I'm fixing in regards to Digitaleer. And once that's done, then I'll get onto the link building packages, and then also in conjunction with the SEO consultation packages, I think will be pretty good for everybody. In my opinion, but it's mine, right? So of course, I think it'll be good. So backlinks, are they a scam? Yes, no, it depends. You just got to be really careful who you're buying them from. If you're going to buy them, if you're going to make them, then go to town. All right, are backlinks still worth it? Yes, of course. As a matter of fact, I would argue, like a few of the people in this Reddit were arguing, is that backlinks are probably even more important because you have to be cited on sources in order to get into the search engines, the AI search engines. The more you're cited on sources, the more you're in those AI sources. And the way we cite people in sources on the internet is via backlinks. So I would argue that you should have them. Quality versus quantity, that rule of thumb probably matters more with AI search engines in regard. But if you're going to find a source, let's say you find a source that always in AI, in ChatGPT, there is a webmaster or webmasters behind that source that fully understands the value of their website, and they are going to ask you for the money. So you generally got to get cited in sources that are like a Reddit and a Quora, etc., and news, PR, press releases. You got to get excited in more of them. So you have to do more quantity because the quality links for it to attack these AI search engines is going to cost a lot more money and or be just way harder to secure than they used to be. Traffic from a purchased redirect domain. This is really a 301 question. So they own a .net and they bought the .com and they want to see if it's a good idea to just redirect to the .net. And yes, I would do it domain for domain. If it's a brand new .com, never had any traffic, never had any backlinks, you can just do the domain to the domain. If you're going to promote both of them, you can set it up so it goes URL to URL if you need it, or you can just do domain to domain and then set 404 redirects if and when you plan on leveraging those a little bit. Really, the domain thing is kind of that's an old school expired domain link building trick. And you just, instead of doing URL, you did domain. And then Google came up with the soft 404. Not really a, we hate this method, but more of a, we see what you did in there, clown, message in your search results. So, but if you're just, if you have one domain and you're adopting another domain, or in this case, you bought one domain to secure it so no one else can compete you just 301 it to the other one and you're going to be okay, in my opinion. Metadata is not pure to SERP. Remember we talked about NODP? So this is where it's coming from, and this guy is suggesting to do that. And those of you that are new, Google does not have to use your title tag, and you do not have to use your meta description, and they can make up stuff in both of those things if they want to. They won't necessarily use it. In the rehab niche, for example, they use the H1s. The H1 tag off of your website is generally going to be the one that they pick, and the meta description is generally going to be a snippet from somewhere in that content related to the search result. And it will change. Same page can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 different versions of meta description based off of the search. And that's part of the SEO volatility that's going on these days. It's okay, accept it. It's like the fact of life. So that means that you can kind of throw out those pixel counts too, right? So you don't necessarily have to be under 63 characters. I think that's the number for title tags. You can write them longer. You don't have to be under your 260 or whatever character count it was for the meta description. You can be longer. And Google is going to be okay with it. So there is some benefits to that. The downside is, yes, sometimes it just picks crappy titles and picks crappy meta descriptions, but short of figuring out where they're pulling it and removing those words instances, which doesn't always work, by the way, you're stuck with their choice. All right, that was the last question. So I wanted to remind everyone I have the consulting session set up here on the website. I had a couple sessions this morning, as a matter of fact, before recording this. We talked about SEO Neo. Both of the consults were about SEO Neo and link building and anchor text selection. It was really good. If you are looking for some clarity, if you have an SEO campaign, you're wondering if you have some gaps, or if you're looking to see if your SEO is lying to you. I don't say lying to you, but if you're not understanding their reporting, et cetera, and getting and not comfortable with the possible results that you may or may not be having, then that's what this session is for. It's not, we're not here to badmouth anybody. We're just here to help you out. If you don't understand, help you be a third-party view of your campaigns, and maybe there's something that I can see that you didn't see, or maybe just talking to me, talking it out solves a problem that you might have. So, check it out. The link is in the description down below. And with that, this has been SEO this week. Hope it was good for you as it was for me.